G'day, mate. My name is Jamar, and welcome back to the second episode of The Road to Glory. If you guys did watch the first episode, I'd just like to say thank you for watching the episode and turning up again for episode 2. If you didn't watch that episode, make sure you just head back and watch that because the stuff in this episode won't really make sense without that episode. Anyway, getting into this episode, there's a fair bit happening. We got a few I think one SBC, maybe or maybe not. We got our first online games. We finish off the manager tasks. But first up, we're buying Mason here. So Mason, the idea behind him was just to shore up our defense. At the end of last episode, we bought Niasi, shore up our midfield defense kind of area because our centre backs aren't terrible. So because one has 72 pace, the other one's gold. So I was like, all right, we'll get a CDM in. He kind of links to the whole midfield, gets the chemistry up a little bit more, and so I figured that's probably the best route to take. So I brought him in, and we have Niasi up front. Now, this probably wasn't the best idea to go into an online game with his team. We got 3 gold players, pretty bad chem, and I thought in Div 10 the players aren't that great, but you do come up against teams like this guy has. Now, I'm not making an excuse because, I know the good team isn't everything, but when we have a bronze team with 2.5 gold players because the other gold players not really on any chem and stuff, and you come up against a BPL team like this, it's going to be a pretty hard day at the office, to be honest. I mean, he has Pyatt, he has Druid up front, so you know he's probably going to be crossing, and against my, bronze centre-back, and it's probably not, the best mix I want. So I held on until the 71st minute. I was having an attack here, missed that pass. He has 1 pass, 2 passes, and then he's through. I try to body here with my centre-back. He just takes a step, which is brutal, and he just puts it far post. Not a real lot I could do there. I was on an attack myself, and then, as I said, he 2 passes from his defender to his midfielder to his striker, and he's through. And when I tried to body Druid, which probably wasn't the best option anyway, because Druid's pretty tough, I just got bullied off. But we strike right back. 77th minute, Owen just goes through. I mean, look at the strength. Pushes Schweinsteiger off the ball, keeps going, puts it under the keeper near post, and we're back in at 1-1. I was so happy when I scored this, because this guy was playing around the back. He was being defensive, and I'm just like, mate, I have a full bronze team. What are you doing? So I was so happy to get through. Pretty lucky goal when you look back at it. I mean, for my bronze striker to bully off Schweinsteiger off the ball there, it's a little bit risky, but that's all right. But unfortunately, that's how that game ended. We did end up taking a draw for our first online game. I mean, against that team, with the team that we currently have, I'm pretty happy with that, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I could have actually won that game. The stats were pretty heavily in his favour in terms of possession, but I feel like I still could have stuck another goal or 2, but that's right. We did buy Wimmer as well. As I said, we're trying to shore up that midfield and defense. So I was trying to sort out how I want my defense to look at the moment. But we bought Wimmer, and his stats are pretty good for a discard price. That if he runs out of contract, we can just discard him if we want to, or around there. He's only 450 coins, I think, is what I paid. So it's pretty cheap, and his stats are pretty good for that price. So we went into another game. And this one was a bit more what I was expecting in Div 10. He still has a really good team, no takeaway from his team, but he was a little bit of a lesser player. Now, I'm not being rude, I'm not a great player, obviously, but this guy, he looks pretty new. So he has all these loan players that he's got, even though normally that means you have a high club level, so you've been around for a while, but he has them all. But he has a left back, a right back, he has a right back at centre back, and just it isn't really working for him. So in the 8th minute here, Niasi just breaks through. Unfortunately gets tackled, but we play it back to him, and then Bowen's just through. This guy is pretty quick for a bronze player, and he just puts it far post. Nice finish for a bronze player there. He's been a pretty good gem for me, Bowen. I didn't expect much from anyone in this bronze team, but he showed up pretty well. And yeah, so now it's taken us all the way just before halftime. Niasi, again, just a 1-2 between him and Bowen. They're a nice little combo. And Niasi goes through, and it puts it off the far post. That's a pretty lucky goal to score. I thought I was just going to put it into the netting on the side net, but instead he kind of, from that position in this FIFA, I feel like you shouldn't be hitting the post there. I feel like that should be a pretty guaranteed shot just to go side netting, but it's alright. If it went in, I'm happy. That's the main point. So that's an important goal just before the half, because he knows that now he has to score 2 goals to get back in it. But straight after halftime, or 20 minutes after halftime, Welbeck just goes through. It's terrible defending by me. He just dribbles through and puts a nice clinical finish along the ground to be my keeper. But we strike right back. A little bit of a cheeky goal. I don't really like scoring those goals a lot where is either a corner or a cross, or like a cross from the corner, like once you lay it off. But Woodman gets his goal on debut, and we take the 2-goal lead back, which is very important to me. But then we strike again, Niasse breaks through, and it just gets a little bit of a driven shot. The keepers tend to like mess up pretty hard when they're running out, and you do a driven shot. Like a lot of the time, you can drive it at them pretty much, and they'll just somehow miss it. But that's alright, that's what happens. I mean, that if you saw that shot again, it was pretty close to the keeper, but he didn't save it. So we win that one 4-1, pick up a fair few coins, and we now have 4 points in the division. I moved my team around just to get those green links for the manager task, so I can grab that pack. Didn't really get anything in the loan reward pack, but that's alright. He's not the best player, but he can go into our team to help with chemistry, so I'm always happy with someone who can help with chemistry. For the next manager task, we had to go buy a fitness card. It's a little bit of a waste of coins, I know, like you guys are probably like, why did you bother buying a fitness card? Because you probably would have eventually got one in a like free pack or something, but I mean, I may as well just get them done now. Mason, I can sell him on instantly for what I bought him for, so I figured I may as well just sell him instantly. I'll lose 20 coins on tax, which is, I can wear that, that's alright, but I'll get the other manager task done. So we sold him off instantly, and we got just about, I think that was the last manager task. Yeah, we got the last manager task completed, so we got another lone player pack. But this one, again, wasn't great. His stats are alright, but we're just probably never going to use him, besides as a super sub or something. He's just not going to fit into our team. So we got our premium gold back. I was so hyped, but we didn't even get a red gold player. So, again, no players that are really going to help us. We got a squad fitness card, which will help, and a couple of contracts, so... Yeah, so next position I thought to go and improve is the goalkeeper. I bought McCarthy. He was pretty cheap, 450 coins. His stats are pretty solid for that price. And yes, and then I also had to buy another CDM replacement, so I got MacArthur for 350 coins. So 50 coins cheaper than what I got Mason for originally. So I feel like his stats are probably just like inferior, however, still pretty impressive. So he'll slot straight into the team. And then after those two, I actually forgot to put McCarthy into the team. He's just still in the club. I still have that silver goalkeeper in goals, as you see here. And it just didn't occur to me that I didn't put him in. I don't know why. But so you play yet another game with a silver goalkeeper. That's alright. This guy, again, is not the best player. This is what I was expecting more than that guy that we came up against first. Even though I have a bronze team, mainly, with a few gold players like scattered through there. I was expecting this level player a bit more. So this guy's a pretty good team for Div 10. Like, here's Musa, and Musa alone, you can make or break a team. But we're getting started early again. 9th minute, put in a cross, and we get up high. And the keeper does get a touch on it, and somehow we still put it into the far post. And we're 1-0 up. I like taking the early goals, because it puts the pressure back on the other player. He knows he has to score. And again, same as last game, just before halftime, getting that 2-0 goal. 2-0 lead, well, the second goal. Because when you go into halftime and you're 1 up, your opponent knows he only has to score 1 goal to get back into it. But if you're 2 up, he's kind of... A lot of the time they half rage quit in their head before they really do anything, because they know that they have to score another 2 goals to get back into it. And then, from then, like in this game, you can just push on. So now it's 3-0, because I got through with Niasse again. He went all out attack, and he just couldn't do anything. Here we're through again. I don't know why I passed that, but somehow Bowen just puts the top corner off the bar and in. That's just an amazing strike. Bowen's a bit of a legend. I like his haircut as well. It's very similar to mine. So we win that one 4-0 in the end. I mean, look at those stats. 17 shots, 12 on target compared to 0-0. So we have 7 points in the division. So that is pretty much it. And then I figured, finally, I remembered that we had to get our goalkeeper back in. But other than that, guys, that's coming to the end of the episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you for episode 3. See you next time.